So I just wanted to make a quick video on what it is that I'm selling. I am selling this Darth Maul staff. I bought all the parts, I installed it, and I'm basically pricing it for all the parts that I paid for it. No labor, nothing, just exactly what is in it is what I'm selling it for. I'll give you a little breakdown and quick video to show you what it is, why is it worth this much, why am I selling it as is. I'll make a parts list if you want to know exactly what is in all of this, from what the blade is to what the soundboard is to all the inner parts that I bought and how much they cost, and everything, and I'll put that in the video right here. So as you can see what's in the parts list, you can see that I'm pretty much selling it for the same amount that I paid for it, maybe a little less. That could easily be people, one, being used that I bought, it's not brand new, I bought it. Two, it could be people devaluing the hilt design. It is a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker than others out there. It's less screen accurate. For whatever reason, again, I'm selling it for a little bit less than I paid for it. But either way, I just wanted to go over what is in it and let you know why this is different than others, why I think this is worth what I'm listing it as, and what makes this unique, what makes this special. So what separates this from other Darth Maul staffs that I've seen is this thing right here, and it's a quick detached coupler. So this is actually two lightsabers, one on this side, one on this side, and they're connected by this coupler. So here you have a standard staff, blades both sides. This does have gesture controls. It is a Neopixel lightsaber. So the gesture controls are really nice because it ignites both sides of the blades at the exact same time. And you don't have to reach over and touch the button here or here because they are technically separate. For instance, one blade there, one blade there. I can turn off one side or the other, but that's a little bit slow if you wanted to spin this around and turn it on and turn it off. So gesture controls are really nice. I do have twist on as well as swing on. So swinging it will turn it on. But again, what separates this from other Darth Maul hilts is this coupler. Nice thing about the coupler is I can separate, and now I have two. So I can either dual wield, or I can have a friend, they get one, I get one, and we can duel. But again, this is something that makes this unique and really nice, is that you have two that connect into one. You don't have to change out the pommels. You don't have to do anything. You just quickly detach it. And then if you want to reattach it, you just push it together and now you've reattached it. So again, this is something unique to this saber. Now I'll give you a close-up shot of the hilt. So here's a close-up of the hilt. Again, you have a Neopixel blade. Lights kind of shine through this little slit right here. Here's the activation button, and it does have a red light, a red ring that goes around it. This is that quick detach coupler I was talking about. And there's venting for both sides, and now we're into the other hilt, which is identical, but going the other way. Again, you have your switch. You have that windowed emitter. Yeah. So I'll show you how this, a close-up of the coupler. So So the coupler, it's really easy to use. So it has this ring right in the middle. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna slide it to the side. You grab it, slide it to the side, and then this is exposed and this just slides right out. And then we have two individual sabers. Again, I don't need to unscrew anything. Nothing's gonna fall out. The speakers are well in there and protected. And then if I want to put it back into a staff configuration, I could do in the reverse order, or I could just push them together. And then there we have it. They're connected again. Another nice thing that with this coupler versus some other Darth Maul staffs is all the buttons line up because you can twist this however you need to line them up. And then they kind of stay, they don't really twist back and forth. Whereas some, you can see they don't line up and it just doesn't look that great. But I'll go ahead and open this up and show you the inside of the saber. All right, so there are two sabers, and so they both have their own soundboard. They both have their own speaker. They are identical builds in terms of the parts. But it did make them a little different just for fun. But anyway, you can see, I'm going to start with one. I'll show you how easy is it to access, and why would you ever need to get in here? Because this soundboard actually, you probably don't need to get in here, but in the future you might decide you want to add fonts and stuff like that. But anyway, you just unscrew the coupler, the coupler. And then you're going to just tilt the saber up and let the chassis slide out. This chassis is not removable, so it doesn't need to be. Right here is your battery. I made it a removable battery because you can obviously go around, use this. If the battery gets low, you don't have to plug it in to charge. You simply just grab a new battery and replace it. So that makes it really nice if you're playing with it, or you're out and about with it, or you just forget to charge it. You can just simply pop in a new battery. Here's our soundboard. All you really need access to is the SD card. So if you in the future decide to add new sound fonts, all you'd do is take that SD card out. Fingers are too fat. Right there. Once you have your SD card, you can put in your computer, add new fonts to it, and then pop it right back in. And it's simple as that. There's also a window right here that you can push through. It does make it a lot easier to take your battery out by pushing through this little window. Once the battery's popping out here, you can just grab it and take it out. The speaker side is your positive, so make sure you put it in correctly. So the negative is inside the hilt, so I'm gonna go put the negative in first. This is actually just a snap in. It doesn't really matter which one goes in first, but what fun! What fun! So then you just pop your battery in, and simple as that. You have a really loud speaker, 28 millimeters, biggest one you can fit in here, and it's very, very loud. Sounds really, really nice. So anyways, just slide this back in. And then tighten up the pommel, coupler, and that's that one. I'll show you the other one now. Again, they're pretty much identical, but I'll show you the slight differences. So being it's Darth Maul is red and black. I made the other chassis black, and I made this chassis red. Again, you have your removable battery on this side. You have that little cutout to push the battery out if you need to. And here's your soundboard. I'm not gonna pull the battery out because It's the same as the other one. But again, you have that 28mm speaker, super loud, very bassy, sounds really good. Anyway, this thing goes right back in. And then you just screw this back on. Again, it should go in easy, don't force it. If the threads aren't catching, don't force it. You don't want to cross thread this thing. I mean, it is just aluminum, so. Yeah, so that's the inside of the hilt. I just wanted to give you one more close-up with the saber on. So again, turn it on here, turn it on there. This will come with a full, well, not a full, it's actually a little bit shorter than a full-length blade, but for a staff, this is pretty long already. So the blade's a little shorter just so that you don't have a monstrosity to swing around. But a Neopixel blade means it has a bunch of individual LEDs inside of the blade. I think it's like 130 to 140 Neopixels in there. So it gives you a lot of color choices and a lot of effects. Here you can see the light shining through here. On this particular setup, I programmed it so that this does not light up. I wanted it to have less distraction. I wanted to match the silver. And so I did not want this to light up, but I'll show you in a different font that it does light up. Right now it's only at like 20% volume. It does get a lot louder. I just typically don't like to run it that loud. And it can handle it. I just, again, don't care for it that loud. And then same thing on the other side. And then I'll show, I'll run through all the different fonts that this thing has on it right now.
ambassador Sean. Light and dark exist in perfect balance.
I wondered when you would return.
I have been waiting.
Don't insult me.
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
Ahsoka Tano! Bo-Katan sent me.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
Snips? Are you a Jedi?
I am.
Master Windu.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
What fun! What fun!
What could you give me? Everything.
Sound menu.
What fun! What fun!
Savage.
Second sister.
General Krill.
I am Ambassador Sean. Light and dark exist in perfect balance.
I wondered when you would return.
I claim this sword and my rightful place as leader of Death Watch.
Don't insult me.
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
Ahsoka Tano! Bo-Katan sent me.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
Snippy!
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force.
Traitor! What fun! What fun!
So as you see, there's a bunch of fonts on here. You can always get more or less and add different fonts on there, change it. But I just wanted to go over some other ways to control the saber. Obviously, since these are identical, I'm just going to show you one side. But again, as a staff, as an entire staff, it does have gesture controls, so you can swing on. You can twist it to turn it off. And you can also twist it to turn it on. And that's all our gestures. Obviously, you can turn it on with a button. And to turn off the saber, you can just hold it. So then that's in your staff configuration. So I'm gonna just take out one of these. We don't need both. And then I'm gonna go over just individual controls for one saber. You have blaster blocks, so if you just tap on this, you have blaster blocks. You can see the animation on the blade. The other nice thing about the Golden Harvest board is it also has what is like battle mode or blaster defects. So basically, if you push this a couple times and you just continue to swing, it's as if I'm blocking blaster bolts and I'm not touching the button. It's just a part of it. And then if I wait a few seconds, it's off. And then I'm back to just swinging. So again, that's one nice feature that the Golden Harvest has that other boards do not have. Another thing that people like is lockup. So how you do it with this one button setup is you're going to hold the button, let go, and then you're going to twist your wrist. So you should see it right here. This also moves, so now it's up here. Depending on where you angle the blade, the lockup will move. And then how you let go of it is just tap. And then it's done. Same thing if you wanted the tip drag. You would just aim it down, same thing. Hold the button, twist. This has a stab. If you just thrust it forward, it makes a noise. But if you hold it down, let go, and thrust, You can see right here, it has a melting tip, as if I'm melting through the door. And how you stop it is just tap it. Quotes and stuff, so all you do is you hold it and swing. Well, this one doesn't actually have any quotes. These are called force effects. So again, when it's on, you hold the button and swing.
Prepare a boarding party. Give yourself to the dark side.
One other thing, each font, almost all the fonts, not all of them, have some type of soundtrack on the back. So what you're going to do is with the saber facing up and off, you're going to just push down and twist. You can also turn it on. And you do the opposite to turn it off. So same thing, hold it, twist. Not all the fonts will have a soundtrack or quotes. So other features that you can see with Neopixel is you can actually change the blade style and you can change the colors and everything. While it's on, you can hold and hold.
Choose blade effects.
And now you're in your blade effects. So if I turn it,
Classic 3.
I can go through different blade effects.
Classic.
I'm not sure if you can see it all on the camera, but this one's kind of pulsating.
Classic 6. Frozen 1. Frozen 2. Frozen 3. Frozen 4. Frozen 5. Frozen 6. Frozen 2. Wave 1. Wave 2. Wave 3. Wave
So
4,
there's a lot of
wave
different things.
wave
All you do is turn
wave 9.
and it'll go through
1.
a bunch of different ones. This one's flow, so I think this one you might be able to see better. It's changing colors.
2.
So it's kind of like a rainbow blade.
Flow.
You have different ones that are, this one's coming in from both ends.
Flow 1.
But again, there are different blade styles on here. You don't need to do any programming. Here's our flame blade. This is a blue flame, right? But if you continue to twist, you can go through
2.
different ones.
Flame 3. Flame 4. Flame 5. Sauron 1.
So this is the Eye of Sauron. So Lord of the Rings fans.
Sauron 2. Gradient 1. Gradient 2. Dark Saber. Classic 1. Dark Saber.
So you have Darth Saber, right?
Classic. Classic 2. Classic 3. Classic 2.
So then once you're in the blade style you want, you can also do blade effects by tapping. And you can see like this, I don't know if you can see it actually. Oh yeah, there's a scrolling effect. So if I just keep tapping it, it'll do different things. Now I have two of them going back and forth. But you just keep tapping and you can go through all different sorts of effects. This one's like a flicker, different flicker. So as you see, I'm still clicking and you have many, many combinations that you can come up with. So when you twist, you can select a blade style. If you tap, you can add a blade effect, and every blade effect will go on every style. So you can see that there's many, many combinations. You can also do color change from here, but I'm going to show you a different way of color changing because you get a wider spectrum. So again, while the saber is off, hold down and twist. So just like the music track, but this time facing down.
Saber editor. Select mode.
Here's where you can select modes. So the first one is going to be color profile. I'm going to hold that.
Choose color profile.
Ask which color profile. It's the first one, the one you're on.
Choose blade color.
When it says choose blade colors, now you can spin the hilt and choose any color you want. Again, here's like all white, red, pink, whatever you want. And when you're in Saber Editor, you actually have more options, kind of all the in-betweens. If you change it from, I'm going to leave it as blue. So the one more thing is you can take the blade off. So if you didn't want this out for display, you wanted to store it, you wanted to share the blade with some other saber that you buy in the future or something, or another saber you have, you can take the blade off. It's a little bit more involved. It does require some tools, but you would unscrew this top section up here. Quite a few threads. Slide that off, slide the sleeve off, and then now you have these 3 screws right here. You would unscrew these 3 and then the blade will slide right out. Obviously it's a little bit involved and I don't really see a need to take them out, so I leave them on, and I would imagine you would too. And then you just put in the reverse order, same thing I just did. You put the sleeve back on, then you put the emitter piece back on, and then you just screw it down. One last thing, because this does have the windows for light to shine through, just make sure you line up these with the hole, and then you're good to go. So again, there's a lot of customization. If you need any help, I will gladly help you explain what's going on. I do have some other videos on my YouTube channel that have explanations on how to like go through the menus and how to change things. But again, it's pretty easy. As soon as you get it, you'll understand and you can play around with it. And again, you can program it on the board. That's one thing nice about the Golden Harvest soundboard. If you want to add new fonts, it's really easy. You buy it, stick your SD card in your computer, drag and drop the file, and then plug it in and you're good to go. There's a little bit of tweaking depending on what font you get, but again, very easy to add fonts, very easy to change your blade styles. Everything's on here. Again, a great setup. It's not the most screen accurate out there. It is a little bit bigger, but again, because the coupler is a little longer too, it actually works out because, again, you can split it. You can turn it into 2 sabers and dual wield with them. You can separate them and give your friend one, and you have one, and you guys can duel. If you have kids, they can share, right? Again, overall, I do like this. It is a little bit different than pretty much everything else on the market. But again, that's kind of my rundown on this saber, what I'm selling. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.